Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a make scenario to copy automatically your Google tasks into a Google Sheet. So if you're not familiar with Make, you can create a free account. Just connect on make.com. You'll come to this screen here, the main page. You can then say get started for free. It will take you to a sign up page. So for example, you can use your Google account if you wish. And you come to that screen, just type in what you want to type in here and click send. And there you are, you have your Make account ready to start. So you can start creating your first scenario. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to create a Make scenario to automate a copy of a Google Tasks to Google Sheet. So for that, I'm going to create a new scenario. So here, if I click on scenario, or even I can click here directly on create new scenario, and I will create the scenario that I need. So you come to this screen. What you need to do is click on this plus. It will ask you what is called a module. So a module in Make is an application where you want to get information or add information. So here, what I want to do is get information from my Google tasks. So that's what I'll do. So I'll type here Google. Here I have Google tasks, so I'll select this. It will ask me what kind of operation I want to do here. So what I want to do here is list all the tasks that I have in my Google tasks. So for that, I'm going to use list tasks. It's going to ask me to choose an account. So the first time I do this, I'll add an account. So add an account means I'm going to connect to my Google account. So for that, I click on add. I can leave this title, which is fine, my Google connection. I'll say save. And it's going to ask me to authorize the access to my Google account. So here I'll choose this is my Google account for the test. I say authorize. And here I am. I've connected to my Google account. So now what I'm going to do is choose the list in my Google tasks that I want to use. It's the default one, it's the My Tasks one here. And then I'll just say OK. And now I've set up my first module. This module is going to fetch all the tasks that I have open in my Google Tasks. Okay, so before I go on to the second module, I'll come back here on the Google Task and just show you one information. So if I click here, I can come back to the settings of this first module, and you see here a limit. So the limit is the maximum number of items that you want to select here. So here by default it's 10. It's fine for the test that we want to do today, but you can put the value that you want. This is the maximum you want to extract from this module. So 10 rows is sufficient for what we want to do here. Okay, so now let's add the second module. So the second module is I want to add a row in a Google Sheet. So here I've prepared a Google Sheet for this tutorial, and you have to be mindful when you set up this Google Sheet, you need to share it. Make sure that it's accessible to public so that Make can access this Google Sheet. So coming back to Make, I'm going to add a second module. So this time it's going to be Google Sheets. And the operation I'm going to do now is add a row. So I want to add a row in my Google Sheet. So I click here, add a row. I'm going to select my Google connection, which I've created in the previous step. It's going to ask me to do some additional authorizations. Once you've accepted that, you'll land on this part of the screen where you're going to choose which file in Google Sheets that you want to use. Click here, and I will take task list, which is the file I've created here. Coming back here, I'm going to choose the sheet name, which is tasks. Table contains headers. I will say no, because if I look at my Google Sheets, there's no header here. So I'm going to say no. Column range, I'm going to say A to Z. And I'm going to say in column A, I want to put the title of that Google task, which is here. So when I see here title, I'm going to drag and drop here to say that I want to put the title of my Google task in row A, column A of my Google Sheet. And I can say OK. And there we are. Second module is ready to go. Now I'm going to add the third module. The third module is, once I've copied the rows in Google Sheets, I want to delete the row in Google Task. I'll add a module here. I'll choose Google Task again. But this time, I'm going to choose delete a task. So delete a task. It's going to ask me for my Google connection again. So I'm going to choose my Google connection. Task list. So here, I'm going to choose not to map. I'm going to select the task, which is my task, the default task list in Google Tasks. Okay. And now I'm going to say I want to map, and I'm going to map the task ID to the task ID, which is coming out of my first module. So I say OK. Delete the task ID, which is coming from there. I can say OK. And there we are. We have now our scenario ready to run. Okay, so now we're going to test our scenario to see that it works. So I'm going to go in my Google Tasks. I'm going to add 2 tasks. So I'm going to say this is task number 1 and task number 2. I've got 2 tasks in my Google Tasks here. The Google Sheet is empty. So when I'm going to run my make scenario, I expect this sheet to contain those 2 tasks, task 1 and task 2, and I expect my Google Tasks here to be empty. I'm going to transfer those tasks, Google Tasks, to Google Sheets. So let's try it out. So to run a scenario in Make, you can run it manually with the button here, run once. So usually that's what you do when you want to test and check that your make scenario is working well. So here I go. I'm going to run this scenario. So here, if everything is green, that means that the test has gone well. 1 means here I've selected the list of tasks. 2 means here I've added 2 lines in Google Sheet, which is what I expected. And the 2 here means I've deleted 2 tasks in Google Tasks, which is what I expected as well. So let's go and have a look now in Google Sheets. There we go. Task 2, task 1. Perfect. And in Google Tasks, the tasks have disappeared. So perfect. The scenario is running correctly. So now the last thing you need to do is, usually when you do this kind of scenario, is you want to automate. For example, you want this to run every hour. You just need to click here. I'll put 60 minutes here. I'll say OK. And the last thing I need to do is click here on scheduling. And now the scenario is running in the background every hour to check and automate and collect your tasks. So imagine you keep putting tasks in your Google Tasks, and every hour it's going to collect what you've typed and stores it in Google Sheets. You can also do an alternative schedule. You can say, I want to schedule this every day. Or you can say, I want to do it at regular intervals, but I'm going to add the settings. I'm going to say, I only want to run this between this time and this time. So you've got different ways of scheduling as well. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope that will help you use Make to automate between Google Tasks, Google Sheets, and you can do many, many things with Make.